Good morning, all you stylists from the break room. Good morning. What is going on, John? We have a fun topic this week talking about charcoal lightening, all the secrets to perfecting that blondes. We just came off a program yesterday doing exactly this topic, so I'm going to be really charged up today. What's going on with you, buddy?
Nothing. Everything's good. Everything's good. I am at. How many years ago did we find this? 2 years ago? 2 shows ago?
Something like that, right?
Yeah. I'm so stoked. Been having nothing but success with the Lumine lightener, especially the charcoal lightener, which is awesome. The developers are unbelievable. I don't know how you steer the ship, my friend. Since you just taught the class, where do you want to start with this? Because we could go probably for 2 hours with this.
Let's start from the beginning. What even is charcoal? Why do we have it? Why do we need it? What is people having problems with the blondes? All right. So what is your first memory of a charcoal lightener or a bleach of any kind?
My first memory of a bleach of any kind was many, many, many moons ago, the old Rue Speed Bleach. That you had to be right on top of, because if you let it go too long, it would just turn the hair to cotton candy. That's my first memory of lighteners. Scared me.
But that's lighteners. That's not charcoals, though.
Right. Well, you said, what's your first memory of lightener? My first memory of charcoal lighteners, I saw a video about it, and I was like, no way. I was like, really? And then I really thought about it. With charcoal, people that poison them, that get poisoned, they give them charcoal to absorb the poison, right? And and look at what we used to do with cigarette ashes, which is basically charcoal to remove color from the hairline with shampoo. It is.
Wait, go back to the poison for a second. What do you mean they used to give people charcoal? I thought you're supposed to suck the poison out.
No. People ingest poison. Look at him. Look at him. He's starting already. You son of... Yeah. Guys, if you ever poison yourself, Eddie will suck it out of you.
So be very creative where you get bit, right? That was my job in the beginning at the salon, was to collect all the ashtrays and to mix it in. My aunt used to make me mix it in with lemon juice. And that's what we used to do with our color removers. So that was the fun. That was the fun of my job. Yeah. Every 15 minutes, I'd walk around, collect all the ashes, all the ashtrays, right, put it all in a big Tupperware bowl, squeeze in a whole bunch of lemon juice, and just stir it up. We'd be banging out color every 15 minutes. So it was just, we always had clients coming through.
We used to mix it with Prel shampoo.
With Prel shampoo. Oh yeah, I remember the shampoo. Sure.
Because Prel is so alkaline. But I remember that was one of my first jobs as an assistant, because that's back when there was still the rows of hooded dryers with the ashtrays right in front of them, and we'd pick all the cigarette butts out, and we'd collect all the ashes and mix it up as color remover for the hairline. Charcoal has a lot of uses. So why not use it as a purifier for the hair? Really, it takes a lot of the free radicals and things like that out of the hair. And if you really think about it, because of the color of it, it's actually helping you control warmth. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but look how cool.
That's very, very fun. So that's the whole thing. Charcoal controls the warmth. Okay, fine. So that's what that's about. How does that help with blondes? What is the problem with blondes that people are having and struggling with? Well, because charcoal is trending like crazy right now. Yeah, and that's what I'm realizing, is that it's really, really trending hard, which is fun as hell.
It is fun. I think because a lot of our lighteners, we're talking about lighteners, we're not talking about bleach. A lot of our lighteners are very buffered. So you're not getting that full removal of either artificial pigment or natural pigment because you're not powering through those levels like you normally would. And because we are impatient, so what's the next step? If you're not getting that blonde bright enough, what's the next step that you do?
You pop them under heat.
Right behind me. Right?
So it was so funny. We were talking about that in class yesterday. You've got layers on the hair that exists. And it was interesting when I was mentioning that in class yesterday because stylists are looking at me going, what are the layers you're talking about? It's like, well, you got that static charge. You've got product buildup. You got natural sebum. You got the texture and porosity of the hair. You got the actual pigmentation of the hair. There's so many different layers that the lightener has to break through to actually reach your hair, your natural hair color, to start lightening and lifting that up. Right. And we don't realize how much strength we lose, how much potency of product we lose, especially because who measures? Who's out there measuring? You'd be surprised. Take a survey. I'll take a survey right now. Let me know. How many of you actually measure your ratios? You know, it's because I browbeaten you to death into measuring. That's why. I got the peanut gallery in the background over here.
Is Janae is still sitting there?
She's still sitting here. She won't come online though.
No, but I know for a fact because I remember when we did one of the first classes with her when she looked at us like we were crazy.
Well, we are crazy, but that's not what we're discussing today. We're talking about blonding today.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of crazy, I had an intrusive thought yesterday and she busted me. So you know how I like to stir up the bowl of charcoal in the beginning of class and then I like to let it sit so I can show everybody how it doesn't grow, it doesn't blow up. It actually stays controlled and stays creamy in the bowl. I'm sitting there, I'm stirring it up and I'm mixing it and I'm looking at the consistency of it and I just paused and I stared at it for a minute. She goes, "Don't do it." I'm like, what? She goes, "Don't you eat it."
For those of you that are not familiar with my partner in crime here, he likes to eat product.
I can't smell, so I eat everything so I can get a feel for what's going on. That's how I overcompensate. I don't know. Don't ask me to explain it. It makes sense, okay? Well, it's not always the most fun thing in the world, but it makes sense.
I don't want you to explain what you're overcompensating for either.
Sucking poison. So lightener's got to break through all the different layers to get to the actual pigment in the hair to try to lift it up and lighten it up, right?
Right.
Charcoal absorbs everything to the surface. So rather than wasting its time breaking through, I shouldn't say wasting its time, expending its energy, breaking through every layer to get to the hair. Right. It absorbs everything to the surface simultaneously, all at once, right?
Right. So the charcoal is doing that, and then the lightener is able to actually penetrate the hair shaft and get to the pigment, either be it artificial or natural pigment.
And that's what's really nice about it. So this is why we're talking about you get cleaner lift, you get more even lift, you get more consistent lift. It's the action and the power of what that technology is doing.
Now let's talk about the technology for a second. And especially, you just touched on it a minute ago before we went completely sideways, is the mixing ratio. Because that is so important. It's not mixed. It is 2 to 1. You have to mix this product 2 to 1. 2 parts developer to 1 part product.
The mixing ratios. The whole thing about the mixing ratios. Like nowadays, it doesn't. I mean, it does. It matters more than ever. Let me correct myself. It matters more than ever because you can have fine, medium, or coarse grain, the powder. The problem with that is if you do it in a way where you put more powder and less developer, it comes out extremely thick. Versus if you put more developer, less powder, it comes out very thin. And everybody has their own personal preference. But the problem and the science behind that is if you're putting too much developer, you're completely dissolving the powder. Then all you're doing is throwing contributing pigment. You're not getting enough levels of lift. You're just getting tonal shift. And then conversely, if you put too much powder, and not enough developer, and it's too thick, it's just not alive enough, it's not strong enough to lighten. Okay. And this is one of the things I was explaining yesterday. You ever do a highlight, you open up the foil, and it doesn't look like it shifted at all. It's too dark.
Yep.
You mixed it too chunky, too thick. And then vice versa. You ever open a foil and it looks gold as hell, it looks brassy as hell. You put too much developer, it didn't have a chance to lift properly. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works.
Well, like you and I always say, manufacturers' directions are there for a reason. They test this stuff like crazy. They have R&D departments, and as much as we'd like to think that we know better, what do you say? Science is fun, but science is dumb.
Yeah, science is fun, but science is dumb. It don't know what we want it to do. It only knows what we tell it to do. So
Exactly.
if you're mixing it the way you're mixing it and you're not measuring your ratios out, then you're telling it to go one ways or another. You're not allowing it to do what it's meant to do. It doesn't understand what you want and what you're trying to achieve. So it makes a big difference.
Right. Plus, if you mix it, and I know we're going to touch on this, but if you mix it in the proper ratio, and especially the Luminae product placement, especially with the Luminae, when you rinse it out of the hair, it comes out so clean. There isn't any residual graininess or anything like that with this product. And then, and because, some of us, we don't have assistants, we operate on our own. When you're cleaning the bowl out and stuff, it just comes right out of the bowl. It's amazing.
So I tried to get her to rinse the bowl out yesterday so I could show that to her, and she just looked at me and went, do you want me to do your dishes? Is that why you're asking me to do this? Oh no, it was Jess at the end. It was Jess. It wasn't Janae. Yeah, I asked Jess. I wanted to show her how cool it was to rinse out the bowl. She's like, you just want me to do your dishes? It's like, I'll be your assistant. Just say it. Like, don't try to trick me. I'm like, I'm trying to teach you something. It's cool. It's really cool technology. I'm excited about this, It
is. The coolest part about especially with the charcoal lightener that I've noticed is with it removing all the impurities and everything, it's really I'm searching for the right word. It's really not eliminating the need for toner, but my need for toning has decreased.
The finishing of the color surface is different. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, that's great. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Because, right, you are getting a cleaner lift, so you don't necessarily have to tone, but you still do have to finish the service 100%. Somehow.
100%. You can't just let them go raw. Absolutely.
So the best way to do it is to do a clear gloss, a clear glaze. 0 stroke 0. It's the best way to finish it. You could do a deep conditioner to neutralize it. You could use the Clarifix treatment from All Nutrient. That'll neutralize the pH. Anything that's acidic that's going to close the cuticle. So this way the color is not raw after. The highlights are not remaining raw after.
Actually, can I tell you what I've been doing? And I kind of Frankenstein something.
What you got?
Luminae makes the light speed color accelerator.
Yeah.
But it's sugar based. And so with it, if you mix it with All Nutrient Microfusion, 5 drops in an ounce of Microfusion, run it through the hair and let them sit just room temperature for 10 minutes. It's like butter.
Okay. So I just discovered something yesterday I've been doing wrong. I've been making a mistake. It's supposed to be 5 drops for every 30 grams.
Right.
I've been putting 10 drops instead of
God.
5. But I've been mixing it with keratin, and I've been doing it at the shampoo bowl. And I'm like, oh, this is freaking amazing. Like 2 minutes on the head is the equivalent of 5. 5 minutes on the head is the equivalent of 10. Like, this is awesome, right? Yeah, unbeknownst to me, I had the directions up on screen, and it literally says 5 drops for every 30 grams, every 1 ounce.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, yeah, 10 drops, like you're gold. You're good to go, right? Everybody's looking at me. It's going, you're saying 10. It says 5. I'm going, oh, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder it's been working so good. So try that in your toner next time. Pop in a couple of drops.
Yeah, I do. I've been using the Lightspeed for a lot. And for my really dark clients, my level 1, 2s, I've been using the Lightspeed, and I've been getting better coverage.
Okay.
Because you know how, like, when they come back, sometimes it'll be a little opaque. The root, where your previous touch-up was, it's eliminated that.
Very cool. Very cool. That's a good tip.
But with the lightener, especially with the charcoal, if you mix it to their recommended consistency, if you do any kind of balayage work with it, it stays in place. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't run. And foiling with it is awesome. It's so the cream, the consistency is fantastic. And actually, I have a girl coming in for corrective. She tried to bleach her own hair later today, and she's got some leopard spots. And I'm going to go in with the Eclipse. And by the way, the charcoal lightener is called Eclipse. And I'm going to go in and do some freehanding to get a lot of those spots and stuff out of her hair.
Oh, so okay, so you're going to use it for corrective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they do have the Twilight that goes with the Twilight, which is
the detoxifying one you're talking about.
Yes, that's the detoxifying one. I like that a lot too, but I'm going to have to work quickly on this girl's hair because she's got some sections that are pretty compromised.
I got you. That's so now when you're going through and you're highlighting, I'm trying to formulate my thought here. When you're going through and you're highlighting, right? When you're looking at it inside the foil, it looks darker.
Yes.
Like it's hard to get a good read on how light of a blonde you're getting to. Well, but that's because the charcoal is absorbing everything in there.
Well,
like even when you try to rub it out, it still has some of that residual in there. So it's not until you wash up and rinse out afterwards that you get to actually see, get a good read on what is happening. Do you have a problem when you try to rub it out? Why are you laughing? What did I say? When you're rubbing out on the foil, from the foil.
Actually, I have no problem rubbing it out, Eddie. What I do is I take...
What? You guys suck.
Did it
Poison.
Did you
Okay.
just realize what you were saying?
Guys, what's wrong with you people?
What's wrong with you?
I'm talking about the foil, man. When you're trying to blot, when you blot the freaking color off the damn foil.
There you go. No. What you do is you take an edge of you dampen the edge of a towel, and you can in the foil you can just blot some off, and you'll be able to get a good read. You idiot.
No, rub it out. Right. That's what I said. For the love of God, you guys are terrible.
And look at him pretend that he's got a halo above his head.
The horns hold it up really well, don't you know?
All I know is you don't know Ascension. That's what I know. No, but actually, like you said, you do have to blot a little bit to get a good read on where your stage is, where you're with lightning. Because the charcoal does pull all those impurities to the top.
Yeah, it pulls it to the top. But when you rinse it out, man, it really is a nice clean. One of the comments from yesterday's class was it lifts so clean and it lifts so light that it was contrasting against the rest of the blondes that she had from prior. And she was having to tone to balance that out. Have you run? I mean, I have run into that myself, but I just played it off as highlight, low light effect, more dimension and stuff. So I didn't really think much of it. But I thought it was funny when she brought that up.
See, what I've come to realize with this is that because I had to do the same thing, because the touch up, the highlight touch up, was so different than what was going on the ends that I did have to tone it. But what I've come to now with when using this is I do a little more feathering, so it's more of a meld.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right, then talk to me about timing, timing and developers, because I think this is something that always still gives people a lot of struggle.
Okay, well, timing, I'm going to go first. My first response to that is how fast are you foiling?
How fast of what?
How fast are you when you foil?
Oh, when you foil.
To take that in, you have to take that into consideration. Okay. Now, with the 20 volume, you are going to get a nice clear blonde, but you have to be patient. Now, I am not patient. I know you are not patient. So that's why they make the Blue Moon 40 volume.
Oh, you just happen to have 40 volume. I couldn't have queued this up for you any better, huh? He just happens to have a bottle of 40 volume in his hand.
And the cool part is I don't know if I'm going to be able to, if you guys can see this, it is a blue developer. It's a violet developer. Check it out. Now, because I tend to run very quickly foiling, because it makes me, I standing there for an hour and a half foiling just isn't my thing. But the 40 volume will give you a crystal clear blonde in about 15 to 20 minutes. On a level, call it on a level 6.
Okay.
Anything darker, you're going to have to increase your timing. But once again, you can't just set it and forget it. Just like with any lightning service, you've got to be on top of it and pay attention to what's going on with the hair. Now,
do you find that it lifts a little bit faster? Forget about the 40 volume, just the charcoal in general. Do you find that it seems to be lifting faster than your standard lighteners?
Sure it does, because it's like you talked about at the beginning of this is a lot of the impurities have been lifted out, so you've got nice clean canvas to lift.
So then is it fair to say 40 volume, 15 minutes, 20 minutes would be the equivalent of like a 45-minute processing time?
Yes, I think that's very fair to say.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Then it's the equivalent damage done to the hair if you actually sat there for 45 minutes with 10 or 20 volume.
I don't think it's that much damage.
Well, I'm saying the equivalent damage.
I think it's less.
You think it's less? You even think it's less? So many people are terrified of using high developer. So many other people say it is completely unnecessary to use higher developers. And then there's even some people out there that say if you use high developer with your lighteners, it's because you suck at life and you don't know what you're doing. You need to learn how to. You need to take a class and go back to learn how to foil.
Okay, I will. When's your next class?
Next week, actually. Thanksgiving week. Here we go. Black Friday, moonlight special, blue light special on classes.
No, it's the Blue Moon Developer Special.
Excuse me, Blue Moon Developer.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you, I'm gonna go the other way with that. I don't suck. I do suck at life, but there are a few things that I tend to know what I'm doing with, and I think hair color and lightening is one of them. I hope, or else I've spent 35 years doing nothing. But I've spent 35 years rubbing it out.
You do have 8 kids.
Yeah, I do. Here's the deal. I disagree with that statement completely. I think that if you understand your product and you understand what it's going to do to the hair, you can use it as a tool to actually create less damage than you would with actual lighteners.
I think the whole thing with the... Say again?
Go ahead, finish.
I was just saying, I think the whole thing with timing and the whole thing with developers really comes down to comfort. You know, comfort and like you said, the ability to apply quickly or slowly or at whatever pace you work. To me, I don't necessarily care about speed. I care more about consistency. So if you can consistently put in a panel of foils in X amount of time, compared to the next panel, compared to the next panel, the next panel, the next panel, however many sections of paneling that you're putting in your foils, if you could do each one in 10 minutes all the time, all day, every day, or 30 minutes all day, every day, I don't care at what speed you are. As long as you're consistently doing each panel at the same time, I think that's what matters the most, because now you have predictable results. You can control what you're doing. I think what happens is people burn out in the back. They start in the back and they're like boom, 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 and they go flying through it. And then they fatigue themselves. And by the time they get to the sides and by the time they get to the top, they're dragging. They're dragging so hard, you know? And then what ends up happening is it's like, well, I did the lower developer in the back. I did the higher developer or the medium developer on the sides. I did the higher developer on top. Like, yeah, you did. But by the time you got to wait for this, that's why you're starting to pull these out. Then you're starting to pull those out. Then you're starting to pull out everything. And it's just the pull-out game is out of control. You know, it's so inconsistent. It takes too, why? What now? What now? I can't say anything today.
Who's laughing?
He's laughing. You're shaking your head. Everybody's shaking their, I give up. What I'm saying is consistency is what is important, okay? And as long as you can predict your results, you can control what pace you work at, that's when you don't have to be nervous from developer, and you can do what you need to do.
Right.
And this is how you're getting the better blonde control, and you're getting the better blonde results over everything else. And you know, I'm talking about blondes, but I mean, you could pretty much do that for any level and any degree of highlighting, especially when you're doing the like dimensional colors or like the cowboy coppers or any of the buttery blondes. This doesn't just have to be platinum, you know? It could be a light brown over a dark brown. You could do tonal, you know, sun-kissed. You could do whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to start naming any names because every time apparently I try to label something, you laugh at me or you shake your head at me.
Yeah. You are 100% correct with that, and you actually took my point and expounded on it a whole lot better than I did initially when I said about how fast you are foiling, because that's how you mix. You mix for consistency. You formulate. I shouldn't say mix. You formulate for consistency, and with that, you know. So if you are pacing yourself, then you can use a lower volume. I tend to move very quickly. And so that's why I can play around with the higher volumes. I know you apply quickly. But quickly yet consistent, like you said. I agree 100% with you with that. The best part about is that no matter how long you take, this stuff will stay creamy and consistent all the way through. You're not going to get that brain blow up like you would with some of the other lighteners. And if you come to a blonding class, we have a couple of things for you that could keep that from happening with your lightener your lightener of choice if you're not using the Luminate lighteners.
Yeah, we go through that. We talk about that in class as well too.
Yeah, 100%. Also with that, with the charcoal lightener though, the coolest part is like you said, if you're consistent, you don't have to start dropping foils halfway through your foiling technique. You can do the whole head, and then start making. If you need to drop a section or two, that's fine. But everything else is still processing at the time. At that time.
Yeah, and it works out really nicely. So now you've processed everything. You're at the shampoo bowl. You start taking out the foils. You start pulling out the foils. And before charcoal lightener, if you were using other lightener, level 9 violet toners or level 10 pearl toners are like rule the world, right?
Right.
But now you're finding, or I'm getting questions like, what do I do now? Because now with using charcoal, you don't necessarily need to use those, or you still need to use those.
Well, I got to go back to when I did my initial training, and they used to tell us, if you see gold, you have to pee on it.
You pee on gold, yeah. Golden showers all the way around. You get rid of all of that. You flush it out.
Right. So you used a pearl toner to get rid of it. Now with the advent of products like this, you're actually getting more of a crystal clear blonde if you've processed it correctly. Got to throw that in there. You do have to blot off a little bit, see where your lightning is going. But now you can switch it up. You can use a deep conditioner with maybe. You can even do a hybrid, do a clear gloss with a little conditioner in it, or even just a clear gloss to close that cuticle down and lock it down to keep it from to slow down the oxidation process. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you can still do it. It's not like you don't need. I think the biggest difference with a charcoal-based lightener is that you don't need it, or you don't need to try as hard, or it doesn't have to be as difficult, because the charcoal does have that work for you in eliminating that brassiness. That's always seems to be the struggle.
And to make sure that you've hit your target level.
It does help you get to your target level way easier as well too.
It does, and that's one of the most important things, is hitting your target level. Because guilty as charged. I mean, I've pulled foils and not been there. And you had to work on the fly. But also get the other side of that too is actually taking that target level maybe too high too. That's when your toner comes into play. And that's when like the keratin NGs come in and things like that.
So you're bringing up an interesting point, because most lighteners are designed to lift 5 to 7 levels.
Right.
But charcoal, you can get up to 9 levels. And then in particular, if we're talking about the Eclipse today, since you're mentioning it a couple of times from Luminate, I mean, that sucker gives you 7 to 9 levels. It's designed by default to be a 9+ level lifter. So you're just already from a baseline, you're a couple levels ahead from what your regular expectation, your standard expectation is. And then on top of that, the charcoal in there is giving you that clean control. So you're getting into that realm of your 8, 9, 10 level lift, or you're achieving the target level 8, 9, 10 when you're lifting. I should say it better that way, more accurately. And because of the way it's removing the impurities and giving you that cleaner lift, it's absorbing everything. That's where it's killing a lot of your brassiness. I mean, just to tie it all back around together.
Right. So I want to hit you with something that is hotly debated in what we do. When you are lifting, let's just say you're going from a level 5 to a level 9.
From a level 5 to a level. Okay.
There is a beginning part of that level 9, and then there is an end part of that level 9, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because you could lift to a high 8, it's not a 9. Or you can lift to a high 9, which isn't an 8, right? Because there's
I follow so far.
There's different contributing pigments as you move through each and every level, right?
Well, yeah, every level has a tier. So you've got the lower level, the mid level, and the higher level of that tier.
Exactly.
As you're going through, you're specifically talking about right now. So if I'm following you correctly, you're referring to the contributing pigment, those underlining tones, as you're going through levels of lift.
Exactly. If I wasn't lazy,
okay, yeah. So I follow you so far. Okay.
If I wasn't lazy, I'd go get the handy dandy color book.
Oh, Jenny, would you grab me that green swatch book from the top shelf there?
He's got it. It's the handy dandy color book from our friends at All Nutrient. There it is. So, guys,
you're talking about just because you get to that level doesn't mean you're perfectly at that level. You got to pass through the previous level and get somewhere in between, then get to the actual level itself, then get halfway in between to get to the next level.
Right,
so it's not always going to be perfectly orange or perfectly gold. You always got this yellow orange in between or this red orange in between.
Right, exactly. And that has been a hotly, well, it's level 9, but where on level 9 is it?
So what's the debate? What's the argument?
Well, the argument is once you live to a 9 is a 9. No, a 9 isn't a 9. Is it a lower 9 or is it a upper 9?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because that in itself is going to affect how you treat that hair post lightning service. True.
That's true. Okay, so then since you're bringing that up, here's another thing I get hit with from time to time, and it's really annoying when I have to be in these conversations with somebody. So somebody says, 40 volume give you 4 level of lift. Why the lightener says 5 to 7? How can you get it? It's impossible. It's BS marketing. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, well, there's only 10 levels of hair color. So if you live 7 levels, you'd be at level 12, and that just doesn't exist. I'm like, where are you starting from? What are you even on about, right? And then I get hit with the reverse side of that. I used a lightener and I didn't get 5 levels. I tried to lift her to a level 8 or 9. She only lifted to a 7. A 7 or an 8. I'm like, that's what I asked. Like, where did you start, right? And we're going through the whole thing, and it's like, look, why do people not count the level they're starting in as the first level of lift? So if you're at a level 5 or if you're at a level 6, you have to break through that level first before you get to the next one. And they're like, no, that's your starting level. So if you're at level 6, when my first level of lift, it goes to 7. No. I'm like, if you're doing mathematics, yeah, but we're doing freaking chemistry here. You still got to break through the current level that you're at. That counts as a level of lift. And it goes to reinforce what you're talking about too. Because if so I'm naturally a level 2. So, am I in between a 1 and a 2? Am I a true level 2? Or am I in between a level 2 and a level 3? Which one am I? And then you got to get through that to get to level 3, to get to level 4, to get to level 5. Your level skin. So are you a Mr. Clean level? Are you, Chrome Dome level? Like, which level of skin are you? Because, I can't say your natural color because apparently commenters don't like you having natural hair anymore.
But I think I'm going to back up everything you just said. Yeah, so if you're lifting a level 4, okay, It is level 4, you're lifting, then 5, then 6, then 7. There's your 4 levels of lift.
It really matters because that's the difference of being violet versus red. That's the difference between seeing brown red in the hair or actual red that you can tone something. Because if you highlight and lift somebody and they don't turn, if that brown doesn't go away and only show the true contributing pigment exposed, you're SOL. Okay? And then with the blondes, if you don't break through that orange and get into the gold zone, trying to tone that is holy hell. That's what sucks about blonding.
Yep.
And then when you're trying to get to the platinum blonde, if you can't break through that gold and get into the pale yellow, that's the problem with platinum blondes. And then what do? Or just use a violet shampoo or just use a blue shampoo. And then you see people walking around with this weird silvery, like half their head is blonde, half their head is silver, half their hair is blue. And you think, if you're going to an anime convention, yeah, I guess that works. But I don't think they have those year round. It's rough.
No, it's not right. It's amazing. Actually, it's so cool what we get to do. It is super cool. There's so much knowledge that goes into this that you're never going to learn everything. But we get to play around like this is awesome. And then when we get products like this that come into our world and to make life a little bit easier for us, let's go. I'm in. I'm down.
Yeah, that works.
So, guys, we could go on and on and on and on. We're just going to retread stuff. But
that's what class is for. Come to class. Go to HTBbeauty.com. Come to class.
Yeah, go to Eddie's blonding class. I'm not allowed to play with Eddie anymore. I have to do it remotely. Only because Eddie makes double entendres all day long. And I'm scared of being sued.
Do you understand how messed up our industry is? Everything we say, do, and use is somehow I've learned a number of things today. Inadvertently, I've learned a number of things today, of which you suck. Okay, so that's where we're leaving off. Thank you so much. If you want to support us, like I said, HTBbeauty.com. Sign up for classes. Go out there, everybody. Make a difference, one client at a time. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you next week.
Next week, guys.
If I could figure out how to end the live on my phone here.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.